Welcome to the EntailAI podcast, discussions with marketing executives sharing their latest techniques for growing their businesses online.
Hello and welcome to the Entail podcast, where we speak with marketing leaders from B2B and B2C companies. Today, I'm happy to have with me Enrique Olives, Head of Product Marketing at Vyond, a video creation platform for enterprise companies. Hi, Enrique. How's it going? Nice to have you on board.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for the invite, and looking forward to our chat today.
Very happy to have you. Maybe you want to just tell us in a few words about your experience and describe Vyond, the company that you work for.
Sure. So Vyond is an AI-powered video creation platform. 65% of the Fortune 500 use Vyond. Essentially to create training materials and video. The reason why we exist is because, as you would likely imagine, we basically replace text-based information. Why? Because cutting through the noise, cutting through the clutter, it's a very distracted world that we live in today, and video is able to cut through that noise. Not sure if you've seen statistics that point to the fact that video is way more engaging and way more entertaining than regular text. But we have all of these statistics. Maybe I'll point out two statistics that we often use. One is that 90% of people prefer video over text. The other is that our brain actually processes visuals 60,000 times faster than it processes text. So just on those two data points alone, you can see how much more valuable video is, and that's essentially where we play. Prior to this, I spent 2.5 years at Salesforce, leading product marketing for Media Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying about video, even if I can't back it with numbers like you can, it's very obvious, and I think it's true to almost everybody today that we consume, most of the content we consume is video. I mean, more video than text. And also another interesting aspect is that more and more of that video is shorter videos and on social media as well. Even though I saw a presentation in one of Google's latest marketing sessions, and they speak about this huge demand for video and any type of video, basically long, short, YouTube, TV, social, so any type of video. So that's very interesting, and I think it's a big challenge for companies. That's why it's very interesting what your company does, but it's a very big challenge for companies now to I often speak about the fact that companies now need to compete with individual creators when it comes to video, because most of the video that we see online now, I mean, not TV or Netflix, but what we see on social media where most people consume most of the content is video created by individuals, and it's very difficult for companies. So you're saying that your company solves mostly video creation for tutorials, or is it also like marketing videos, for example?
So that's a great question, Tom. So we basically see four broad use cases for Vyond. So our biggest footprint currently is in learning and development, or referred to as L&D. We also see a lot of use cases in HR and internal communications, for sales enablement, creating training materials to enable sellers to go out and market. But as you pointed out, the fourth one is actually in marketing. So creating videos to put on landing pages, creating videos to put on social media, basically any type of communication that you can think of. So we basically provide a self-service tool. So it's click and point, drag and drop functionality. So we basically allow anybody and everybody to be able to create videos. You can basically teach yourself to do it in a couple hours.
And what type of videos are you talking about?
So our platform, started off mostly as an animated video creation platform. Most of the videos that you can create, Tom, we've seen companies recreate as a test, for example, Michael Jackson's Thriller video. I mean, it's very, very complex. But some of the largest enterprise customers, not just in the US but globally, they use Vyond to create materials for their learning and development. They use it to enable their sellers, to enable a lot of their partners. So you can actually, we have 40,000 assets. We have pre-populated templates already on our website. So you basically, piece together the videos, and with a lot of AI technology that we've been integrating recently, you can actually, you can even translate that video into one of 73 languages that we currently have on our platform. So you can, record text to speech. You can record your own voice or add text to speech, and then you can literally in 2 or 3 clicks translate that video into multiple languages. And we're seeing a lot of companies that have a global footprint and global employees actually use that capability within our platform.
Okay. And so the AI features that you have now, so I understand like translating into different languages, but do you have AI features also for editing the videos?
So we have our AI mostly plays in the creation part. So in June of last year, we launched an application called Vyond Go. And what we did, Tom, was we integrated ChatGPT into the video creation process. So basically what you could do is you could type in a prompt, right? So you could say something like, what are tips on office safety in a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
And you could choose from among 50 different pre-populated templates that we had. You could choose whether it is a conversation, a conversation like you and I are having now. So you'll have two characters on the screen, or a talking head where you basically have one person, right? And just recently we launched a third one, which is narration, which has no characters on the screen, basically emphasizes the text that you put on the screen. So with that, within 30 seconds, you'll actually output a video. And then and then we have a panel called Quick Edit where you can make changes in the characters or changes in the in the dialogue. Now, if you want to make more sophisticated and advanced edits, you can bring that into our bread and butter product, which we refer to as Vyond Studio. There, it's a timeline based editor, so you can make any and all changes there. You can swap characters in and out. You can add things to a scene. You can replace things in a character. You can change the background. So say I have a red background here. Say your company brand is blue or green, right?
Yeah.
You can use our color picker, or even type in the hex code of a color to make sure that everything in the video is brand compliant.
And this product is you're saying is for enterprise companies, like individual users or smaller businesses don't use it. It's more like heavy.
Our I would say it's both, right? So we actually all three. So we have individual users, and then we also have a good footprint within the small SMB business, small medium businesses. But our largest foothold is within the enterprise. So companies in healthcare, companies in financial services, companies in software and tech, companies in retail, you name it. We have, like I was sharing earlier, we have 65% of the Fortune 500 across. So we have the biggest brands across the largest industries that use Vyond today.
Okay, and is it a product that requires a lot of expertise to create? Do I need to be a video editor to use it, or do I need to learn it over time?
Actually, Tom, the probably the most interesting story I can tell you about how easy it is to use Vyond is. So I joined in 2012 2022, and one of the largest events that we go to every year is DevLearn in Las Vegas. And I was chatting with a gentleman from the U.S. military, and they were using Vyond. And as it turns out, he was telling me that during the pandemic, his 8-year-old daughter, after one day of playing around with Vyond, was already creating videos herself.
Really?
So the usability and ease of use of our platform is second to none. It's extremely easy to use. I can demo it to you at some other point, but be happy to show you how easy it is.
Yeah, I'll be happy to see that. I'm actually very interested in video now. I mean, we're also like recording this in video, and I do agree, like I said, that video is definitely the way to go. And from my experience, it's difficult to companies now to create high quality video, like I said, because of the competition with individuals. And I see now, I mean, you go on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, and you see individuals creating really high quality videos, like almost to Hollywood style, you know, like special effects and whatnot. And so I'm interested actually in, you know, in the marketing side of things. So how do you market a product like that to businesses? Are you targeting businesses that already create videos? Or are you targeting businesses that create text content and you tell them that they can now start creating videos? What's your strategy to that?
I think that's a really complicated but interesting question, Tom. So we have an entire sales team that is essentially targeting enterprise customers. So we know so we actually know which customers have the largest footprints and have the largest teams in learning and development. And that's who we primarily target. And then once we land that customer, then we try to expand usage of Vyond within that company. And right now we're working with the largest companies to try to create more targeted account-based marketing. So once literally your foot is in the door with these companies, then you try to figure out who else in the organization is creating video. And a lot of times you'll come across training for, sales reps. You'll come across training for agent reps for customer service, for example. Obviously, your marketing team is creating videos for social media, or creating landing pages where you can put videos as well. So there's no shortage, or there's no discounting the fact of how effective video is and can be for multiple businesses.
Yeah.
So it's really, I would say there's no one targeted approach, but we definitely we also use events. So sharing earlier, we participate in DevLearn in Vegas. One of the biggest events we do is coming up in London. It's called Learning Technologies. And then the other event that we participate in a lot is ATD, which happens twice a year as well.
So it's not necessarily like an online strategy, like a lot of events and so on. And according to what you're mentioning, it's like SDR activities rather than
we do. We have we have a few SDRs, and they partner with our account executives. So yes, we definitely do cold outreach. One of the things that we do very successfully, Tom, and it shocked me when I joined Vyond, is we have our webinars pull in amazing numbers. I was sharing earlier, I came from Salesforce, and we would do webinars where we had like 400 or 500 attendees, and we were quite happy with those numbers. I can tell you at Vyond, we do 2 or 3 times a year, we do what we call our masterclass, and we get registrations in between 9,000 to 10,000 people. And about 30 or 40% of that actually attend live, and the rest actually watch our content on demand. So we generate substantial qualified leads through these events as well, through these virtual events.
And how do you get people to sign up? It's just like you publish an event or a webinar on your website, or because often, I mean, doing a webinar is one thing, but how do you get the subscribers to people to sign up?
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Vyond is a 16-year-old company, so we've been able to
build a brand.
A lot of our customers know us as Go Animate, which is our former brand. A lot of our customers have been with us for a long time, so we've been able to build a very healthy base. We have a good following on LinkedIn, and I can tell you, Tom, I've not worked for a company, and I kid you not, I've not worked for a company where people come to us during events and literally tell us that they love our product.
Really?
Like yes. It's we have diehard Vyond users.
That's really cool. That's always great to hear from customers when they enjoy using your product. So to get them to that point where they enjoy using your product, I mean, if you're selling to enterprise and you say, so if I understand correctly, you get a foot in the door, you sell to somebody in that enterprise, certain persona, and then from there you start understanding who else in that organization needs video or could use video, could benefit from video as a part of a sales enablement tool or customer support or a training tool. And then you start selling that basically to more people within that organization.
I think the other one that I failed to touch on, Tom, is the fact that social proof is really important, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the projects that I embarked on last year was creating as many case studies of companies using Vyond, right? So the more companies can talk about their experience and their KPIs and their business metrics on using Vyond, right? Then the easier it is for our sellers, and the easier it is for other companies that don't use Vyond to actually take note, right? So more than just helping them save time and save money in the video creation process, we're seeing companies sharing with us statistics, and it's all available on our website. Mm-hmm. We have some of the largest brands that we have case studies on, and you'll see there where it increased. Able to increase learner engagement, or we were able to save them thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the other thing that we're understanding, talking to our largest customers, Tom, is that we're not only saving time for people that are creating the video, but you're saving time for creating. You're saving time for the people that are
learning the product,
learning through video. Right. So think about this. One of our largest customers, for example, was telling us that what used to take their employees 2.5 or 3 hours of training time, right, now takes multiple Vyond videos that adds up to half an hour, right? And they have 5,000 or 6,000 employees. So think about 5,000-6,000 employees times 2.5 hours saved.
Yeah.
And that's just, you're just talking about one training, right? So it's not just you and I who are creating the videos, but it's also the audience that these videos are addressing. And you're saving a lot of productivity, you're saving a lot of hours. Why? So that you can free up these people to actually do things that are more productive. Like let's face it, nobody wants to sit through 5-6 hours of mandatory training.
Yeah.
So that's one of the cool use cases that Vyond is used for.
And are you doing also? Can people also film themselves or film other people, or is it only animation?
Really good question. So some of our largest customers use multiple tools to create videos. We are looking at adding screen recording by this year. And then you can bring that into the video. You can record yourself using another tool. and then you can import that video into Vyond. So while we might be primarily, an animated video platform, you can bring in live video. Also, last fall, we actually signed an agreement with Shutterstock. So we have 4 million images and videos that are non-animated that you can incorporate into your videos. And we're seeing that mixed media videos are becoming the norm as well. So people want variety, they want options, and the more variety and choice that you can give them, so much the better.
Okay, and so back to the topic of marketing. So you're saying that social proof is a big deal for you guys. I mean, you've been around for a long time, so you can create a lot of case studies and success stories like that. And you have your own brand name, so people search for you. And you're doing webinars. Is there anything else that you're doing in order to reach your customers? I mean, because I know that marketing to enterprise is not easy. Often it goes through SDRs, and having a good brand really helps convert more people, creating more trust, like having better success rate at sales. But is there anything else in terms of your content strategy, partnerships that you build, anything that's worth mentioning?
Sure. We also look at creating thought leadership, right? Working with our content team. I think the other thing that's important is, you and I get hit with our inbox, let's say on LinkedIn, is flooded with messages from SDRs, right? So I guess one key thing to point out is, how do you actually stand out?
Yeah.
Right. How do you? So one of the things that we're this year we're looking at verticalizing our sales motion, and what that means is we're having SDRs and our account executives are going to be selling into particular verticals. So whether that's financial services, healthcare. So speaking the language of the customer is really important, and whether that means at the end of the day, that means really understanding what their pain points are, what their business challenges are. So doing a lot of research before talking to a customer is important. If not, you're gonna end up sounding like the 9 other people that sent you a message on LinkedIn, right? Or directly to your inbox. So we do try to stand out and talk about video creation, but we also like to let our work speak for itself, right? So I was sharing earlier, social proof is really important for us. We like to invite our largest enterprise customers to join us for our webinars. Why? So that other companies can actually hear how they've benefited from Vyond, and can actually give them ideas as well.
Okay. And also interesting for me is a company that's selling to enterprise. Do you also have marketing activities on social media? Is that a channel for you? I mean, you mentioned LinkedIn.
We have a very we have a very active. We have a team that manages our social media as well.
And which channels, sorry, do you focus on?
So we primarily use LinkedIn, but we also heavily advertise on Facebook and Instagram as well.
So there it's more like paid activities rather than
Correct.
Organic.
I'd say the organic activities are really more on LinkedIn, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. We also have a very healthy community. We have over 11,000 members. So members helping members. That's always a good source as well for us to really promote, to really not just promote Vyond, but promote usage and members learning from other members on how they're using the platform. I guess the challenge that I should have mentioned earlier, Tom, is unless our customers actually show us, we actually do not have access to the videos that they create.
Okay.
So in the same way that you and I create the video slides, or using PowerPoint or Google Slides,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Unless somebody walks you through a presentation or shares with you the deck, we actually do not see the video. So in a lot of instances, when we're doing interviews with our customers, they're kind enough to walk us through and show us their videos. It's always interesting for us, and it's always a invaluable learning for us to see how our largest customers use our platform.
Okay, that's also interesting. And so in terms of content that you create, I mean, do you use your own platform to create content, kind of like eating your own dog food?
We do,
So
yeah,
like
correct, yeah. We use Vyond to sell Vyond, that's for sure.
yeah. So you like the
It makes it
content that
it
you
makes it.
publish is does it always have video? Is it like is it like a principle for you guys?
Yes, it does. Yeah. So it's always easier to sell your platform and to promote your platform if you use it, right. So that's one thing that we're very conscious of. We also do not, Tom, we do not have solution engineers. So our account executives and SDRs actually do the demos themselves to prove that
If that's easy.
it's that easy to use. Yeah.
Okay, and so how would you describe what's the like a concise value proposition of what you're selling? Because you're saying that you're selling to
Right.
different personas, so there must be like different value propositions.
Yeah. So the way we like to describe it is communicate better with videos.
Mhm. And that
In a nutshell, that's what it is. There's a lot of our stakeholders, whether they're customers, prospects, your own employees. We're all inundated with cell phones. You're barraged with information, right? So how do you cut through the noise, and how do you rise above that noise? And you do that by using video. Why? Because videos are more engaging, and people will actually remember
yeah.
videos way more than reading something or talking about it.
It's also faster probably to create a video rather than to write. Like if you want to guide somebody on how to use a product or anything like that, it's probably easier to do that through a video than writing a guide, taking screenshots and so on, right?
That's for sure.
Is Loom a competition for you guys? I mean, are they?
Not really. No. We have a lot of so-called competitors that do some similar things to what we do, but for the most part, I would say no.
And in general, do you think that, I mean, do you see, so video is growing, then video demand is growing, and probably also the demand from companies for video creation tools. So that market is growing. But then on the other hand, because the platforms themselves understand that they need to be able to encourage the users to create more and more videos, then you see amazing editors come out like CapCut, and YouTube is working on a very advanced editor, and there's also like more and more tools for editing shorts, cutting shorts automatically, and all that. So do you think all this, and of course now with AI, there's more and more tools, more and more options for editing content or editing video content. Do you think these tools are competing with you guys, or do you think the market is big enough to have all these tools, or maybe it's a bit bubbly, the market, so many of them will disappear later? What's your take on that?
Well, it's definitely a crowded market, but I think we're comfortable where we are.
Okay, thank you very much, Enrique.